Before modern nursing was written into books, it was practiced by women like me, bound in chattel slavery. My name is Aqua. It is the only remnant of my origin. It tells me I was born on a Wednesday, according to the naming traditions of the Akan people of the land now called Ghana. That is all I have left. No mother, no father, no lineage to name. That is what memory carried across the ocean, even when the records did not. In bondage, I was called Cubah. Later, as a free woman, I became Cubah Cornwallis, a name tied to Captain William Cornwallis, the man who once claimed ownership of my body, but never my knowledge. Like many who endured what I endured, my story was not carefully written. It survived in fragments, in recollection, in the bodies of those who lived because I treated them. They called me an Obeah woman, a name shaped by fear and distance, a name given by those who relied on my work, yet refused to understand it. What I practiced was not superstition. It was discipline. It was inheritance. It was African knowledge carried across the Atlantic, adapted, sharpened, and forced to survive under the most wretched conditions. I worked with what the land gave us. Cleanliness where there was filth. Order where there was neglect. Rest where there was exhaustion. Herbs drawn from Jamaican soil, guided by memory older than the plantation system. I observed. I listened. I treated fever, flux, wounds, and weakness. They called it black magic because it worked. People came anyway. They came from the docks, from ships heavy with sickness, from barracks and plantations. Sailors carried in with failing bodies, officers who could not afford to die so far from home. The same white men who dismissed black women like me in daylight returned to my door when night brought fever. Port Royal became my ground. After I gained my freedom, I settled there and built something of my own. A house that became known. Not quite a hospital, not quite a lodging house, but a place where the sick were taken to recover or to try. My name moved through the harbor before I ever did. In 1780, during the failed expedition to Nicaragua, a naval captain named Horatio Nelson fell dangerously ill. He was brought back to Jamaica, weakened and close to death, and then carried to me. I treated him until his strength returned. He remembered. In his letters and conversations, he spoke of me. He sent greetings to Cubah of Port Royal. He told others when they were sent to Jamaica to find me, to thank me, to carry his words back across the sea. In a world that rarely wrote women like me into its records, my name remained because he spoke it. Another followed. Prince William Henry, not yet king, stationed in the West Indies. He too came under my care. He too recovered. Years later, as King William IV, he told the story to his wife, Queen Adelaide. From England, she sent me a gown, rich, delicate, made for a life I had not lived. I did not wear it. I kept it folded away, untouched by the work of my days. I wore it only once, in 1848, when I was laid to rest. This is what is not always said clearly. I was not singular. I was part of a tradition. Women like Sarah Adams, Grace Dawn, and Mrs. Grant, the mother of Mary Seacole, practiced the same careful medicine across Jamaica. They called us Mayalists. They called us doctresses. We were the healers who laid the foundations of modern medical practice. We worked before recognition, before reform, before it was written into books and called new. We practiced what others would later name. They called it Obeah. They called it witchcraft. They called it something lesser so they would not have to admit what it was. It was knowledge. It was care. It was survival. I was Aqua. I became Cubah. In Port Royal, they came to my door broken, fevered, emptied by disease, and many of them left alive. Men like Nelson were remembered. Women like me were not meant to be. And still, I am. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Word Sound and Story for more thought-provoking insights from Troy Mackenzie.